So I give everyone a quick update. As you can see, Christmas came early. Went to the landscape store, got the results from my soil test, and this is what they recommended. Just to kind of point out what we got here. The very front on the foreground, you got lime, which is a slow releasing lime. The orange bag there is corn gluten, I believe. The blue bag in the back with the yellow on the top, that's lime as well, but that's more of a fast acting lime. And then the two bags in the very back are, let's see right there, those are sea humic. So I'm going to put all this down tomorrow, super early in the morning, because it's supposed to rain in the afternoon. And then do a little Indian rain dance and hope for the best. Alright, so before I show you guys me putting down the fertilizer, this is what your soil test results are going to look like when you get them back, minus the hot chick up at the top. But I'm just going to kind of refer to it while I'm putting down the fertilizer, so if you want to pause the video so you can go back to it just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. But it's pretty straightforward as far as the big things you're looking at are the soil pH, then like what the buffer pH is, and then if you look just right here, you can see these are the minerals, and these are like extra minerals I believe they'll test for, but I had to pay extra for that. I wish I would have known, because I would have paid a little more for them to test for the iron, because with centipede, if you put some iron in there, as far as like a little, like on the higher end of it, it kind of has the tendency to turn the grass a little darker, which gives it less of that like Granny Smith green and more of like a little darker shade of green. Alright, so the soil test is going to answer a lot of questions for us, and it's going to give us more of a detailed map to go by when it comes to navigating our yard. The big things I'm going to talk about when it comes to the soil test is the soil pH, the N, the P, and the K, and then as far as the application of the things that I put down and tips that I would have for you guys and girls. The first thing is the soil pH. For my yard was a 5.8. Ideally, you want your soil pH to be neutral, which is a 7. The scale goes from 0 to 14. Anything below 7 is considered to be acidic. Anything above 7 is considered to be alkaline. So one of the ways you fix it is you can put down, if you have a more acidic soil like mine, is limestone and lime, which lime is basically, from what I understand, just ground up limestone in a lot of cases. But so you put that down, it gets down in the soil and it helps raise the pH. Centipede grass likes a slightly more acidic soil. So ideally I'm shooting for something around like a 6.3 to maybe closer to 6.5. But the thing you got to think about too is if you're going to put down in your backyard or any yard stuff like roses or bushes or shrubs or flowers, you've got to keep that stuff in mind too, because that stuff may not play well with a more acidic soil. The next thing is basically the N, the P, and the K, which anytime you go to a yard store like a Home Depot or Lowe's or a big box store, anywhere where you get fertilizer, you're going to see those numbers on the front of the bag that's like 15, 15, 15, 15, 0, 14, or 8, 0, and 4. Those all stand for, that's the N, the P, and the K, which the N is the nitrogen. With centipede, you don't want to get a product that has a lot of nitrogen in it, because it can be bad for the grass long term. So when you go to some of these stores and you see stuff that has like 20, like the first number is like a 20 or a 30, that's going to be, in my opinion, way too much nitrogen for the grass. It's going to shoot it up and make it look good, but over time it's going to cause the disease to be more susceptible, the grass to be more susceptible to disease rather. The next thing is going to be the P, which is the phosphorus. And the phosphorus is kind of used for the root growth. It's what the grass uses. It's the mineral the grass uses to kind of help itself develop strong roots and really get down in the ground. Next is potassium. Potassium is what helps with the overall health of the plant and the grass. I'm not going to get too far in the weeds, pun intended, about the N and the P and the K, because that's starting to get into more of the scientific stuff about growing your grass, and I'm not that familiar in it myself. The only big things that, like I said, that I'd take away from it is when you go to the stores to buy the fertilizer or whatever, is knowing that the first number is the N, second number is the P, and the last number is the K, and how it affects the overall growth of your grass and your plants. The only other thing I'd kind of talk about that I've looked into is the iron, which is the F and the E. The soil test that I have didn't measure that, so that kind of bums me out, because I would have liked to have looked at it a little more and known where the iron level was, is because iron is what helps give the grass more of like a greener look. That being said, the next thing I was going to talk to you guys about is the spreader application and how I did it. So I had a lot of stuff to put down, and those were pretty big bags of all the things I put down. If I were to do it again, I would probably put the corn gluten down, which is something they gave me to kind of be like just a little fertilizer. You can use corn gluten as a weed preventative, but you have to put down it at a very, very, very high amount. So in my application, it didn't really use it for that kind of practice. When you Google like corn gluten, that's one of the things that's going to come up as a way you can use it. But for me, it was just used as more of a general purpose fertilizer. Then I put down some lime, lots of lime, probably 150 pounds of lime. And then I put down, it was a mixture of a 0, 25, and 0 mix, which was just to help raise the P in the soil to really get that up. And if I were to do it again, like I said, I would probably do the corn gluten first, because when you spray the corn gluten out on the spreader, it's kind of a yellow, so the pebbles, when they come out, they're going to be, the granulars are going to be yellow, so you're going to be able to see them easier. The next thing is that I would probably do the C humic next, which is something else that they had me put down, which is kind of like a humic acid. The good thing about the C humic is I could see where I was putting it, because it was black, so there's a contrast between it and the ground. And then I'd probably do the lime, and then I'd probably just do the general purpose fertilizer after that. I think I also put down some Scott's Grub X, because I do have some bugs that live in the backyard, and eventually we want to plant herbs. But a buddy of mine who lives in this area told me that when he tried to plant herbs, his got killed by Japanese beetles, so hopefully that will take care of that. So, but anyway, that's all I got for right now. Thanks for watching. If you guys liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys in a few days after I go out and assess the damage from the spreading and all the bad weather.